Welcome to Eagles and Airwaves, voices and topics from Thompson Valley High School.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Meltdown. I'm your host for today, Jackson. And before we get this, episode started, I do want to say sorry if I sound a little, congested. I'm feeling a bit under the weather today, but still going to push out this episode for y'all. So today we're going to be taking a look at the hardcore band Incendiary, which they're really good. I recommend you check them out if you get a chance. And specifically, we're going to be looking at the album 1,000 Miles Stare. Now, looking online on the allmusic.com, which, it is what it sounds like. It just catalogs a bunch of music and stuff. People can leave reviews. And there's only one review on here. And all it says is that the band's 2017 album, 1,000 Miles Stare, is a replica of their past two. They gave it 1 star. Now, I can agree with that to a certain point, but I think that it's all because of the vocalist. Their vocalist does the same kind of vocals. Kind of reminds me of this band, Turnstile, which is way more popular. Might have heard of them. And heck, I might even do an episode on them because they're really good. But their vocalist does the same kind of vocals on most of their songs. And that doesn't mean that they're not good per se. It just gets old pretty quickly. And, that kind of sucks. So, not as amazing as some of the other bands that we have covered, but, I still really like them. So, I had to make an episode on them. So, the songs on this album go in order. We have Still Burning, Hanging from the Family Tree, Front Toward Enemy, Awakening, The Product Is You, No Purity, Hard Truths Cut Both Ways, Sell Your Cause, Fact or Fiction, and Poison. My favorite song off of this release has to be Poison, and I'll go ahead and play a little snippet of it now. Here you go. So cool. I love the guitar tone going through there. But I'm going to play another song to drive forward the point that their vocalist doesn't really change it up much. So I'll play a little bit of Front Toward Enemy and just skip to the middle of that song. So you can kind of hear that he doesn't really change it up throughout this release or in some of their previous releases, like that comment was saying. But I still think they're really good. So I'll give you all a little bit of history about the band. So they've been active since 2007, but their first release was in 2008 when they released their first EP titled Amongst the Filth. Really, really good release for being a first release. And although I didn't look and see how big this band really is, I know that they're not as big as some of the other bands that have been covered. But in 2009, my bad, In 2009, they released their first full-length album, which was Crusade. They released that on Eternal Hope Records, which I believe that is the only release that they had done while licensed to Eternal Hope Records, because in 2013 they released their second album, Cost of Living, and that was on Closed Casket Activities, which is another record. And then in 2017, they released their third full-length album, and the album that we are checking out today, 1,000 Miles to There, which was also on Closed Casket Activities. So only one release on Eternal Hope Records, but it doesn't really matter as to what they were released on. To the band, it probably does. But and one thing that I found really interesting that they also did in 2017 is they teamed up with CFO to record the theme song for the wrestler Aleister Black. He is mostly known for his work on WWE, where he did that from 2017 to 2021. And their vocalist, Brendan Garone, he joined the members of another band, Code Orange, at the event NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3, performing his theme song live as he came up to the ring. So they had Code Orange step in, and their vocalist hopped on there, and they played it live. So I think it's real interesting to have this hardcore band just come out and play a theme for this WWE wrestler. But it's pretty cool. It's cool. I would love to be there and see that, because Code Orange is another band that I thoroughly enjoy. So it's cool how those two came together. But as far as touring goes, they don't really tour. They don't actively tour as a band. They play shows, and in fact they have this. I have it written down in my notes somewhere, but they play this event yearly as like a tradition, which I thought is pretty cool as a band who doesn't really play. But yeah, they don't tour actively as a band, but they've played a number of different shows and festivals just throughout their, lifetime. But one of the ones that stood out to me was that they played on France's Hellfest in 2022 with like Metallica, Bring Me the Horizon, Merciful Fate, all of these really big metal bands that you've heard of. Or at least I hope you've heard of Metallica. If you haven't, what are you doing? I don't like Metallica, but you gotta know them. They're a classic. But one of their final shows that they played was in Amityville, New York, at the Revolution Bar and Music Hall. Yeah, here's I reached the part in my notes. This is what I was talking about. As tradition, every holiday season, the band does a holiday show hosted at Amityville Music Hall, and they've been doing this since 2013. They're still active today, so that's like 11 times that they've done this. So I think it's cool to have something like that, being a band that doesn't really do stuff like that. And then the final thing I got is their members. They're a 4-piece. So they have Brandon Garone on vocals, Rob Noble on guitar, Brian Audley on guitar as well, and then Dan Lamelli on drums. So that's the lineup that we're looking at here. Now, just to finish this off, I have to give this band a rating, specifically this album a rating, on what we have crowned the Metal Meter. And I do have to say that they're an amazing hardcore band, and I hold them to my heart very dearly. But their vocalist needs to change it up. Like, come on, Garone, what are you doing, man? We need more. We need more from you. So I will have to give this band a 5 out of 10. You know, a nice neutral score, because they are very, very good, very, very talented musicians. However, their vocalist just makes them get old pretty quick. Can't really listen to a release all the way through, and if you do, you're kind of sick of it by the end. So that's my justification. So I think that's it for this episode. I'm feeling pretty crappy, so we're gonna wrap it up here. But if you guys enjoyed this one, make sure to check out our previous episodes and some of the other podcasts that we have here on the Eagles and Airwaves platform, because I think that we got some very talented people who talk about some interesting things. So make sure to go check them out, show your support, follow us on Spotify, YouTube, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for another episode of Metal Meltdown. See ya.